All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. Because no country could be great without fair and honest elections. Demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the DOXX Report, retired 72 years of age, peptide therapy free. A senior citizen receiving Social Security payments. In addition, MAGA member and proud of it. I live a holistic, that is mind, body, spirit life, a fitness lifestyle, embracing spirituality and keeping my mind right. I broadcast from where Frank and I both live. Where would that be, Frank?
Del Boca Vista?
That is correct. Thank you, Frank. Now, that's in the center of Florida, Central Florida. This is my personal YouTube channel, vlog, citizen journalism account, and my generalized social online platform. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for keeping it civil. And what else? Okay. Oh, it's brutal out there. They're still golfing, though. Find that surprising. I mean, I went out and talked to my neighbor briefly to pick up the mail, and he can work in the yard. There's no way. In the garage, is 88 degrees, and it's over 50% humidity. In the shade. I'm not going out there, and I talked to him for a while. I just said, I gotta get back in the house. I had my coffee, and I just don't want to be in the heat. So got the lights off, I got all the shutters closed, and we're gonna hunker down with the air conditioning. Hopefully it will go. And let's see, 5 people watching, very good. I got a lot to cover today. What's the title? Oh, Peptide Delusion. What's that about? Saturday, July 25th, the Villages, Central Florida, USA. Trump. Rubio got some excellent clips of our tremendous Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, at the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Philippines. That was on Thursday, July 23rd. Great clips on him. And what else do we have? Senate, Thune, South Dakota. Yeah, he's just dragging his feet. He doesn't want to get the Save America Act passed. And that's what I put in the comment. If you want, maybe we should cover that initially. I put in the comments hyperlinks that are active, that are working, that will take you to the zip files of the recently unclassified documents of voter irregularity. And let's see what's over there. You've got, well, we've already covered this one. You got China's acquisition, exploitation of American voter data, Michigan voter registration investigation. Well, actually, no, we didn't cover that one. I got to knock all 3 out today, but I got a new format to do it. It's not going to take that long. And non-citizens on the state voter rolls. So Senator Thune, he's the Senate Majority Leader. Certainly you want Americans only voting in that. Come on. And I forgot to load a thumbnail. There you go. I need a producer. Okay, so the hyperlinks are working. Now I got to go get a thumbnail. Hang on, I got to get a pic. YouTube advanced features. There's my thumbnail, for God's sakes. You'd think I would have loaded that. But I didn't, so let's load it right now. Okay. DOXX Report, your ID is verified. Now, why did I have to do that? Go back to my folder here. I got a letter from them saying that I lost my, well, I didn't get a letter. They just turned it off. They don't tell you, they just turn it off. So I looked it up, and let's read this. Let's read this together. So I had to take a photo of my driver's license, front and back. And I don't mind doing it. I got nothing to hide. I mean, they can find you anyway on your IP address. So to keep using these features, you'll need to follow our community guidelines. Whether they enforce them or not, okay, that one, okay. They can change and they may or may not enforce, but all right, I can do that. Maintain a positive channel history. What does that mean? This helps us protect our community. You can delete your ID at any time. However, if you delete your ID, you won't be able to use advanced YouTube features. That's the hyperlinks, one of them. You'll need to build your channel history or try ID or video verification again. But they don't let you know. You just notice your hyperlink's not working. How long we keep your ID? Well, you can keep it on file for a while until Anyway, your ID is automatically deleted from your Google account within a few months if you build channel history. After 1 year, if you haven't used advanced features, let's see, how long do we keep it? After 1 year, if you haven't used advanced features, what does that mean? Within 2 years at a maximum. Oh, they'll keep it for a year. Within a few months, if you build channel history. Okay, I mean, that's just streaming. But anyway, let's get back to this positive channel history. So I had to ran that through AI. Means that your channel and associated Google account must develop a trustworthy record over time. YouTube does not publish an exact score or formula, but it says channel history includes your channel activities, such as uploads, live streams, audience engagement. Whether you consistently follow the community guidelines. Well, I do push the envelope. So, yeah, I'm currently on a strike, and that should fall away in August. I'm going to stay away from the music. I'm only going to use YouTube-approved music. Let's see, information about the associated Google account, including when and how it was created, how regularly it is used, and how it connects to Google services. Well, I mean, YouTube is a Google service. I use Slides. I use Gmail. I mean, what else? Photos. What generally counts as a positive history? Here we go. A channel should upload and use YouTube normally and consistently, a couple times a week. Avoid community guidelines, warning, and strikes. Okay, you got me on that one. Okay, I did get a strike. Avoid spam, scams, deceptive practices. Does that remind you of anybody? Impersonation. Does that remind you of anybody? Well, it says impersonation and artificial engagement. Well, we know who that is. Avoid repeatedly uploading removed or seriously problematic content. Keep the account secure and avoid activity that appears automated, compromised, or suspicious. Continue behaving appropriately even after advanced features have been granted. Okay, so I'm on the I've got them back. This requirement mainly affects access to advanced features, including higher daily upload limits, pinned comments, clickable external links, and certain live streaming capabilities. YouTube may remove access later if the channel no longer has sufficient positive history, whatever that means, positive history. Now, what it does not mean, it does not mean your videos must be cheerful, complimentary towards YouTube, or politically agreeable. Positive refers to the channel's trust and compliance record, and not the opinions expressed in lawful policy compliant videos. It is also not determined simply by subscriber count, number of views, how frequently a video goes viral. I don't think I've ever had a video go viral. How old the channel is by itself. All right, blah, 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 blah. How long did it? All right, so in plain English, AI is talking to me. Keep using the channel legitimately. Follow the rules and give our systems enough time to establish that the account is trustworthy. All right, well, thank you for giving me back my advanced features. Beautiful day out there. Hot, but oh my God. Oh, we got a comment. Uh-oh. Pavel. Now, I won't even look at it, and you know who's in the topic, right? You already know who he's talking about. Let me read it here. Yeah, we're right back there, aren't we? I don't have any thoughts on it. I've stepped away from covering that area of YouTube, and it's hard. It's like I'd stop smoking. You just can't have a cigarette. You know, there were some great clips, and I actually got a couple of them. I can't do this if I'm right back in, so I had to delete them. If you want to bring up specific incidences, but we can talk generally about it. But I don't. He's got his StreamYard account. He is working, you know. I mean, you got to give him credit. He works for a living, and he's got major health issues. So if he wants to, it's his StreamYard account, and if he wants Dr. Bob to run it, that's his business. You know. Well, I don't know if he did it because of that. That's subjective on your part. He's told you, listen, he said, if I don't think it's fun, I'm not going to do it. Well, the shows I've listened to, every time during a section of it, he tells you how he's not having fun. All right, enough of that. Let's get back to today's topics at hand. So we covered YouTube advanced features. And so, I do put links also in the description, but I can put them in the comments, right? So it'll take you to the two in there. One is directly to the files that President Trump put in the whitehouse.gov. The other one is to Senator Thune's office. And I sent him an email. Yes, I did. Let's look at it. Dear fellow South Dakota. Now, I said I was from Florida. There's a form you have to fill out. And, of course, they don't have a drop-down that says pass the Save America Act. No. So I used governmental affairs. You got to do, agriculture, whatever the topic is. So I picked governmental affairs, and I put in my phone number, my name, everything else. I say, hey, be polite. We got to have a secured election, don't we? I mean, certainly you can come up with something. It must pass. Got to get this thing passed. So this is just a bounce back, but it did go through. So you got to do your part. So I'm asking everyone out there, American citizens, of course, to send him an email. And there's his phone number, and we got to get that thing through. Well, then he's not having fun. I didn't say he was, Pavel. I don't know what he's doing. I wouldn't want to go out there and work and do yard work. I've got a window in the morning, and that's all I can handle. All right, so I did have a delivery. That is the Withings Body Comp. I did the setup. The app is a little confusing because they want to sell you a subscription to their Body Comp Plus, which is a daily, they want to be your activity and Like the Apple Watch, they want to send you, get involved in your day-to-day workouts and everything. So what I did, I worked out Thursday, and then, because I already got the package, I think Wednesday, but I don't want to set it up yet. So I set it up Wednesday night, but I don't want to get on it until I did my workout on Thursday. I went and got my burrito and coffee, but I didn't touch it. I just sipped on some water till I got home, and then I got on the scale, 201.3. In fact, let's go to the app right now. Excuse me. So, and it's kind of hard, and it says welcome. Scroll down. 201.3 pounds, body composition, muscle 75.7%, fat 20.3%. You got to have some fat. I don't have a gut, but, I'm 72, okay. Heart rate was 77. This is after my workout, I'm home. Normal. Nerve response, normal. Vascular age is pending. And average heart rate, I put in my weight, or my height. But then as I was looking down there, and it was kind of dark in the bathroom, I didn't turn on a light. I just hopped on the scale, and the screens come up. And then it gave me the weather. I don't want the weather on my bathroom scale. So now I got to dig into the app and get that thing removed, which you can do. You just got to play it around with it. And then I checked some other things that I want. Bone density and all this other stuff. So I'll wait when I get home Monday. Then I got a doctor's appointment coming up. Got to do a blood draw. So I'm going to start taking my blood pressure during the week. But so far, so good. And the setup was really easy. There's a little tab. Now, there are little rounded legs you have to put on it, underneath it. It gets it up off the floor. And then it has you pull the tab, and that activates the batteries. And then the hardest part was just go into my 1Password, look up my Wi-Fi password, because I don't memorize that stuff. And then it was great. And then I went back in. I also linked it to my phone, my Apple Health. Apple Health, is that what it's called? Yeah. So just to monitor, why not? It's time, because that was a Fitbit scale, and I was like, it's time to get a new one. So I took it, and I dropped it off at the donation center. And the cleaning lady, I still got that stuff in the garage. I don't want to bother. When was she last here? Because I guess I'm not going to bother about it, because it's not going to make any difference. Let's see, when is she coming again? And listen, if she just wants the cardboard boxes, the new ones, then she can have them. And I said there's a code in there, so maybe I should get that. Where'd you go? Okay, there she is. So she was last here June 9th. Well, guess what? She's due. I hope I didn't scare her off. Because I told her, you got to take all of it, if not, some of it, if you want any of it. But I guess I better, I'll send her an email. I'll probably hear from her tomorrow on a Sunday, but I'll shoot her an email anyway. Comments. Pavel, I've got the Withings body scan. That's an even, you can spend, I just thought for me this was the good one. It's not the cheapest, but it was like, they have different levels of it. A nice bit of a kit I hop on first thing when I wake up to minimize variation. Yeah, I'm just going to take my weight when I need it. When I go in the doctor's office, they're going to weigh me anyway. But I got to meet this new guy, and I'd like to just go in there once a year. But, when you reach an age of 72, it sneaks up on you. And you've got to keep tabs on things. Boris, you got to do a DEXA scan, Docs. Can I do that on the scale? or at the doctor's office. A DEXA scan. Oh, God. All right, well, we got grok here. What is a DEXA scan? Grok's a little bit quicker. Not as good as ChatGPT, though. Searching the web. A DEXA scan, also called a DXA scan, is a low-dose X-ray test that measures bone mineral density. I'm working out. I'm a male. I think females have to worry about their bone density. Strength and thickness stands for dual energy. DEXA stands for dual energy X-ray absorption meter. Metry or something. Okay, primary uses: diagnose osteoporosis, low bone density. I think that's mostly for women, weaker bones. Because I'm doing the weights. I'm also lifting weights and I'm walking. Estimate future fracture risk. I don't think men, as a rule, have to worry about that. I believe. Pasta, welcome. Welcome to the club, Pasta. Just tuning in. $200? That's what my scale cost. Boris, I did my DXA at Sports Medicine Doctor. It was $200. Well, you're younger. You're obviously a younger person. I'll tell you what. I know why Jack stands up when he streams, man. It's hard on my back. Okay. Let's see. Now what do we do? Back to the show outline. Okay, so we covered the scale. Okay, now since we're on health, here's another one. There is a correlation between the latest shingles vaccine and the prevention of dementia. Now that's good news. If you're 50, you should be thinking about this. It's called Shingrix. I'll put that in a copy. I'll copy that. I'll put that in the comments for those people that read the comments. It's a 2-dose thing. And let's see, I did a little research on that. Here we go. I went to ChatGPT. Is there a correlation between Shingrix vaccine and decreased incidence of dementia? Yes. Several large studies have found a correlation between Shingrix vaccine and fewer subsequent dementia diagnoses. The evidence is increasingly persuasive, but it has not yet proved that Shingrix directly prevents dementia. But you don't want shingles. Believe me, you don't want shingles. So it's worth getting anyway, but this is just an add-on. Because, you're a kid, you get the chicken pox, and it doesn't go away. It retreats into your nerve tissue. And then as you age, your immune system kind of backs off a little bit, and guess what? It breaks out. And it's terrible. And if you get it in your eye, you can be blinded. And so I got the Merck one initially, but this is the latest one. So the doctor told me to get the latest one, so I got this one too. I'll take prevention all the time. A 2024 Nature Medicine study compared roughly 104,000 recipients of Shingrix with a match group who had received older shingles vaccine, Zostavax. Yeah, I've had that one too. Over as much as 6 years, Shingrix recipients had about 14% more dementia diagnoses free time. That's how they do it. It's more 17% more dementia diagnosis free time, equivalent to approximately 164 additional days without dementia diagnosis. I want to go in the grave before I get dementia. Yeah, yes, Lord, you heard me right. A larger 2026 Kaiser Permanente study found that adult age 65 and older who completed both Shingrix doses had substantially fewer dementia diagnoses than unvaccinated adults. However, some of that difference could reflect the healthy vaccine effect. People who get vaccinated may also receive better medical care and practice healthier behaviors. Again, it's an add-on. It's great to get, you don't want the shingles, so get it just because of the shingles. All right, there's your PSA for today. Yeah, the well, I don't even want to say the CDC, but it says here for adults 50 and older. Because who do you trust? They also, told us about a certain virus, right? But I think you can go with this one. All right, Shingrix and dementia. You want to get into politics or peptide therapy? Let's do a little bit on a. Oh, here we got comments. I'm sorry. Mac Lobster. I think I'm going to pay for this out of pocket. Okay. If you're 50, check your medical plan. There's a needy who could really use a medical. Oh, come on, Pavel. You got a problem, man. You're fixated on this guy. I mean, hey. What is it on you? Okay, I don't, who knows what he's doing with it? Oh, did you really? Yeah, it's good to know until they reverse themselves. Mark, good to know I got my first dose. Yeah, I did. Because he says, what about the shingles? I said, I got mine. I got the Merck one, And he goes, the Zostavax. And he goes, no, this is the latest one. Oh, really? Okay. Well, you've been watching, you've been over at the diner? Huh? You've been over to the diner? Well, forget that. Do wells have a consciousness? Forget souls. What about consciousness? Are they well, they communicate with each other. They've got to have some kind of consciousness. Or they? That's the more important question. And different levels of it. There's a great. I'm going to do a show on this, and I got it ready to go, kinda, but it's right down my alley. It's the afterlife, and in fact, I did a file on it in my UAP and afterlife. Now I couldn't resist watching this. So I'm going to be discussing that. And she's close. Leslie Keane, if you look her up, Keane, wrote a breaking article on UAPs in Time, New York Times Magazine, newspaper, New York Times newspaper. And she's part of a YouTube channel. And it was interesting. And I've got more to say on that. But I got to get this stuff done today. Lavishly fat, I have no idea. Metaphorically speaking, what do you mean metaphorically? How many milligrams of nicotine or caffeine, which you really mean, should one take as a pre-workout supplement? There is no benefit to nicotine. Well, it relaxes me. Yeah, but it constricts cardiac vessels, restricts. In other words, you want to open them. You don't want them restricted. You don't want them closing on you. Stay away from nicotine. That's the way it is. Everybody's coming here. We've got 16 people. Mega Valium customer, just eat a dozen jelly donuts every day for perfect health. Well, that brings us back to the thumbnail. And where is the thumbnail? Right here, DOXX's Health and Vitamin Store. Now, DOXX has got some scripture up there, Psalms. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. King James Version, Psalms. Did God not finish the project? That we need all this stuff? We need peptide therapy. We need vitamin. We need all this. Well, it passed the Save America Act on the window too. Oh, did a good job. I had to have yellow and white. Makes you wonder. I got more about that when I talk about the UAP and the afterlife. Oh, there we go. I'm not 50, docs. Oh, you want to come to the villages? Oh, don't. If it works for you, you better have some money. And if you need the activities. But I like being close to the village. I don't want to be in the villages. I'm not 50, docs. The villages are only a dream at this point. No, it's the diner. Diner has the whales. I got more to say on that, but I don't want to say it. Espresso. Oh, did you see the killer whales? You know what a sunfish is? It's a really big, slow fish, but it's like an armor. It's really heavy. I mean, it would, if you hit it with your hand, you'd probably break your hand, right? So they got one orca holding it by the tail, getting it set up as a target. Swear to God, it's on YouTube. It's incredible. And then this other one is coming in at full speed. The one that's holding it lets it go, and it obliterates the sunfish. There's just debris everywhere. Well, of course, it's feeding, right? They're not doing that for fun, you know? I mean, a weasel will kill for fun or just kill. I mean, it just has the instinct drive is so strong. It's going to kill. If it gets a chance, it's going to kill it. You know, a rat or a mouse. But an orca, that's food. That's predation. And it did explode. It was incredible. The whales seem very intelligent, more spiritually centered than most people here probably. God is everywhere. Everywhere. You can't escape it. Now, do you want to open to it or run from it? What kind of life do you want to have? You want a better life? Get in the God's light. Open to it. Greg, I've been on peptides for a month. All right. Can you name the medication? Because I'm going to get to that. There's nothing wrong with that. But 1 out of every 8 Americans are on Ozempic. That's a problem. Greg, I've been on the peptide bandwagon for a month. My arthritis is gone. No pains in the back. Hands down, not hurting. The amino acids are fantastic. Is that a tablet you're taking or an injection or what? Nicotine reduced the occurrence of COVID, but at a price. No, I don't think there's any benefit for putting smoke in your lungs or even tablets or under your tongue or in your... No, I don't think there's any benefit to it. Unless it relaxes you. But again, physically, I mean, again, it constricts cardiac vessels. You don't want that. Espresso Racer said, listen, I smoke 2 joints. That's all I need. Mark, your future business after you move to the villages. Who are you talking to? Canary yellow. Oh, of course I meant caffeine. Silly me. Well, when somebody wanders into the fitness center, in fact, I'll play it for you. If somebody, let me turn it down. If somebody walks in with a coffee into the fitness center, you know what I'm thinking?
You cannot be serious!
Yeah, you're not serious about your workout. I do mine after. I don't want any messing around with the heart before I work out. Because I do push it. I push the water, you know, take care of business at home, and then I hit it. And I had a great workout, 1 hour, 44 minutes, arms and, it was chest and back on Friday. And the one guy I usually talk to, he's not there, so I really got it done quickly. And then I have to go through my mind, did I leave anything out? I go, no, I hit it all. Yeah, but they got a real hard shell, though. I mean, not a shell, but they got a very tough covering. You'd think sharks would rip on it, but you know, I've seen a shark bite on a turtle shell, a tiger shark or something. Just ripped right, took it just a mouth. You could see it where its mouth was, just sawed right through it. Sunfish are helpless slabs of meat. Espresso racer, using drugs to alter your brain chemistry. Discipline. Exercise fixes a lot of things. A lot of things. You have to do it. Well, I'm too busy. Well, good luck if you want it in a tablet. Oh, I've seen one guy really sprint on the treadmill. I thought, you know, if this guy slips, I mean, he's really going at it, and then he turns it down, all the way down. And then he waits. Then he gets off of it. Then he gets back on. Then he does his sprint. You know what? I set it a 4.0, one incline, and I hi-ho it. I just do a fast walk. I swing my arms. You know, keep my balance. Do that 20 minutes. That's the first aerobic thing I do after my stretching and stomach work. So you don't chug Monster Energy. I got one sitting in the, I don't know the brand name, but my neighbor gave it to me. Something, you know, let me go get it. Let me go see what it is. Ooh, it's ice cold. Wild Frost, Black Rifle Energy, zero sugar, veteran founded. I don't think it even has caffeine in it. I think it's got vitamin B1. Let's see. Vitamin B12, niacin, vitamin B6, pantothenic acid, 5 milligram, potassium, 0. Biotin, 100%. Doesn't say any caffeine, so it's caffeine-free. Carbonated water, citric acid, natural flavors, sodium citrate, malic acid, caffeine. So it does have caffeine, but they don't tell you what's in it. I mean, how much of it. Oh, here it is. Caffeine, 200 milligram per 16 ounces. One can is 200 milligrams. All right. Well, let's compare that with coffee. How many milligrams? Come on. Average are in a medium roast. Colombian, 16-ounce, Wawa coffee. Or an estimate, I should have said estimate. About 181 milligrams of caffeine, the most likely intended measure in a 16-ouncer. Okay, so this is just like another 16-ounce of coffee. Colombian coffee, 136 milligram, 12 ounce. Well, it depends how it's roasted, right? 181 16 ounce. Official Wawa figures for the specific Colombian medium roast are more precise and lower. Whatever. I get enough caffeine. The incline is just as important as the speed. Well, I do a 1, right? And that's enough for me. And I get my heart rate up, 107. I try not, the highest it gets is like 122 or something. Are you a veteran, Docs? No, I'm not. I never served. Greg, I blame Patrick. Thank you, Patrick, for you taking it for your arthritis. Well, hey, it worked for you. What do you mean blame? You should thank him if it cured your arthritis. If you're, you have to be on it all the time. I know when I get back from the fitness center, I feel busted up until I have my coffee and the caffeine kicks in. Then I actually go out and work in the yard. Okay, don't think I need a marker. Let's hit the, before we do politics, let's get into peptide therapy. Where do we start? Listen, I'm a senior. This is new to me. So I kind of want to know peptide theory in general. Well, first thing we should do, you know, everybody is on the bandwagon. Well, 1 out of 8 Americans, but a lot of Americans didn't like the vaccine for you know what, and that was messenger NRA. Is it NRA? What the hell? That doesn't sound right. RNA. Messenger RNA. Should be messenger RNA. So, excuse me, messenger RNA. Peptides are short chains of amino acid, right? They're smaller relatives of protein. The body naturally uses many peptides as hormones or signaling molecules. Peptide therapy means administering a natural peptide, a modified version of one, or a synthetic peptide to produce a particular biological effect. There is no single mechanism of action for all peptide therapies. The mechanism depends entirely on the peptide. The most common mechanism acts like a key fitting into a particular receptor. The peptide circulates to its target tissue. It binds to a receptor on the surface of a cell. Now, what you want it to be when it says particular receptor, but a lot of receptors are not particular, see? So you get a lot of other things going on. It binds to a receptor on the surface of a cell. The receptor activates signaling pathways inside the cells. Those pathways alter functions such as hormone release, metabolism, appetite, inflammation, blood vessel tone, or tissue growth. So I'm talking to the people that were scared of the vaccine. And now you're on board with this thing, with peptide therapy? Many peptide hormones act through G protein-coupled receptors, although other receptor types and mechanisms exist. And then it gets into specific examples with the GLP-1 receptor agonists. Listen, if you're really an uncontrolled diabetic and this helps you, God bless you. I mean, I'd take it too, right? Or in arthritis pain, you want something that works. And some of those meds for arthritis mess up your liver, or your kidneys. Now, this is one of my questions. Does peptide therapy mimic messenger RNA activity? Generally, no. Generally, no. They operate at different stages of biology. Messenger RNA is an instruction. Messenger RNA carries a genetic message to the cell's ribosomes, instructing them to manufacture a particular protein. A therapeutic peptide is usually part of the finished product or signal. It is already composed of amino acid and generally acts directly by binding to a receptor on another molecular target. The cell does not normally need to translate it into a protein first. A useful analogy, DNA is the master reference book. Messenger RNA is a copied recipe. Peptide or protein is the prepared ingredient or finished dish. All right. Let's see, one important nuance. Although a peptide does not normally imitate messenger RNA, receptor signaling triggered by a peptide can eventually reach the cell nucleus and increase or decrease the expression of certain genes. You're messing with something very powerful. So it depends on the use. And my only thing about obesity is what got you to be obese? It was your lifestyle. You're not willing to change your lifestyle, but you'll inject a drug or take a drug. This may reach the now certain genes. This may change which messenger RNAs the cell naturally produces. Therefore, directly mimicking messenger RNA? No, and that was in the vaccine, the infamous vaccine. They make out of it, or use that. Indirectly influencing natural messenger RNA production and gene expression, sometimes. Changing or rewriting DNA? Generally no. Oh, you hope not. Okay. So the mechanism and expected benefit cannot be evaluated from the phrase peptide therapy alone. The exact peptide, dose, route, and intended condition are essential. All right, now let's get to the other one. Peptide therapy. I ask it, is it fact or fiction? And something like, why do people keep demanding it? Some kind of like, bottom line, peptide therapy is neither inherently legitimate nor inherently quackery. Really? Let me read that again. Peptide therapy is neither inherently legitimate nor inherently quackery. Peptide merely describes a type of molecule. Some peptide molecules are among the most thoroughly tested and valuable drugs ever developed. Others promoted by anti-aging clinics, online sellers, bodybuilding forums, and regenerative medicine practices have little or no reliable human evidence. The question is not, do peptides work? It is, which peptide at what dose for which condition, supported by what human trials, manufactured to what standard? That's the question. Fact. Many peptide drugs are established medicine. More than 80 peptide-based medicines have been approved for clinical use, although the precise count varies depending on how researchers define peptides versus small proteins. Just remember you're the gatekeeper to your health, your body. And, I know people are working on the president to approve this, relax the FDA. Just be careful. Just don't, but do some homework and just don't remain ignorant and just follow the leader type stuff. Examples, medical area, diabetes, examples, insulin, it lists some chemicals. The approved purposes, blood glucose control. Certain agents also have cardiovascular or other labeled benefits. Okay, obesity. Well, we know about those. Chronic weight management in specific patients. No, excuse me, in specified patients. Are you telling me 1 out of 8 Americans are specified patients for this drug? They can't change their lifestyle? Discipline. Osteoporosis, stimulating new bone formation in high-risk patients. Not in everybody, the high-risk patients. Hormonal disorders, diabetes insipidus, certain bleeding disorders, acromegaly and hormone-secreting tumors. Reproductive and obstetric medicine, labor management and selected fertility treatments. Gastrointestinal disease, short bowel syndrome. Cancer, prostate cancer, neuroendocrine tumors, neuroendocrine tumors, and other specific indications. Severe hypoglycemia, emergency treatment of dangerously low blood sugar. There's the couple that I talked to, their daughter has, her granddaughter is the one that she's got like a low heart rate and her sugar's always been very low. Rare diseases, okay, great, when it's specified. But 1 in 8? Fiction, peptides stimulate healing, so they should heal almost anything. The reasoning sounds scientific, but it's usually too vague to be meaningful. Peptides often function as biological signals. They can influence appetite, blood sugar, growth, inflammation, blood vessels, reproduction, digestion, immune activity, but biological activity does not automatically mean clinical benefit. A substance can produce an interesting effect in a test tube, can accelerate one aspect of healing in rodents, change a laboratory marker, and still fail to improve pain, mobility, survival, or quality of life in humans. It may also cause an unwanted effect elsewhere. A signal that promotes tissue growth, blood vessel formation, or hormone release is not automatically desirable throughout the body. Mechanistic plausibility is a reason to conduct a clinical trial, not proof that the treatment works. Mechanistic plausibility is a reason to conduct a clinical trial. It's not proof that the treatment works. Okay, got it. The heavily marketed wellness peptides, in quotes. Several products commonly marked for injury recovery, anti-aging, muscle gain, fat loss, improved sleep, or optimization are not FDA-approved drugs for those purposes. Put this one in here. Can I? Oh, I can't copy that. Okay, BPC 157. Claims commonly include tendon repair, intestinal healing, reduced inflammation, and faster recovery. Much of the enthusiasm comes from animal laboratory research. High-quality human evidence establish an effective dose, long-term therapy, safety, and meaningful clinical benefit is lacking. CJC 1295 and related growth hormone stimulators. These are promoted for improved muscle mass, fat loss, sleep energy, and reversing aging. Some can measurably affect growth hormone pathways. That does not establish that they make healthier older adults live longer, remain independent longer, or suffer fewer fractures, heart attacks, or causes of dementia. Okay, it's a lot of hype. TB500 or thymosin beta 4 related products. These are often sold for, they're making money. They're making money off of you and probably harming you. They are often sold for muscle, ligament, and tendon repair. Evidence marketed to consumers frequently blends laboratory findings, animal experiments, unpublished claims, and anecdotes. This is not equivalent to approved human treatment. Okay, on and on and on. Be careful. Compounded does not mean FDA approved. Compounded does not mean FDA approved. A compounded medicine can be medically appropriate when an individual patient needs a dosage form or ingredient combination that a commercially available product cannot provide. But the resulting compounded drug is not FDA approved, all right? Be careful. Do your homework. So, why do people want peptides approved for almost everything? Number one, the spectacular success of insulin and the GLP-1 drugs. Peptides sound natural. Advertisements often say a peptide already occurs in your body. That wording reduces people's perception of risk. But insulin, growth hormone, cortisol, adrenaline, and thyroid hormone also are natural body substances. Too much, too little, or administering at the wrong time can be harmful. Bioidentical or naturally occurring does not mean harmless. They offer hope for difficult problems. Okay, well, that better be pretty serious. Chronic tendon injuries, back pain, frailty, obesity, aging, fatigue, sexual difficulties, frustrating, poorly, blah, 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 cellular repair. Number four, early research is easy to exaggerate. Just be careful. Antidotes are emotionally powerful. Not antidotes, but how do you pronounce that? Anecdotal. It's emotionally powerful. The business model is extremely favorable. Many peptide programs are paid for directly by the patient. Distrust of regulators reinforces demand. Yeah, be careful. Again, I can't say it enough. Be careful, all right? Mostly wishful thinking, plausible but uncertain, major warning signs. I hear your major warning signs. Works for almost everyone. No side effects because it's natural. FDA approval doesn't matter. Pharmaceutical companies are suppressing it. Product label for research use, but supplied with injection instructions. No independent certified of analysis or reliable dispensing pharmacy. Payment required for months of therapy before judging whether it works. Claims to repair joints, burn fat, increase muscle, improve libido, strengthen immunity, and reverse aging simultaneously. All right. It gives me an assessment, but you have to make your own assessment. Enough on that topic. I'm falling behind, but I've covered it. Be careful. So let's get rid of that. Back to the comments. And we left off there. Docs, can you pay a fee to use the amenities in the villages? No. You can buy a home and the bond that goes with it. You have to live there. Now, if you want to go to you can go to the dances, and I think you can go to the outside festivals and that kind of stuff. But as far as in facility, if it's in a village's facility, like the ping pong and the basketball and the train setup, no, you got to have your village's ID. But you can go because they're going to pay. You got to buy a ticket, I believe, for the groups that play there, that kind of thing. Yeah, how many obese adults are there out there? Matt Lobster, 1 in 10 Americans have diabetes. What's wrong with treating these factors so they have a better quality of life? What's wrong with exercise? Why don't they get some exercise? My dad had stage, what do they call it, diabetes type 2. He was obese. As soon as he lost the weight, guess what? No diabetes. Absolutely not. Espresso Racer, Docs, do you think the aliens have discovered immortality? This is going to be a very interesting topic. I'd say I got a folder on it. I want to save it, and I may either do it when I wake up early. Tomorrow is going to be raining all day, so I may, fire up the stream. Let me put it this way. The only thing that has immortality is God. Nothing exists outside of God. So if you're interested in eternal life, get as close to God as you can, because that's the eternal life. As the rabbi in the New Testament, the vine, the leaves fall from the vine, but the vine remains. You're a leaf on the vine, your personal ego. And do you really want your personal ego to be eternal? I don't. Gildan, the DOXX Report, yuck. Chili Badger. Oh, I think I got rid of that one. I got rid of an animal. Oh, that's too bad. I'll do it for you. Hello, I am not an animal. But, where is it? Shelley Berman.
Nobody goes on forever and ever and ever, and I'm not going to go on.
That's true. You were made in the image of God. What does that mean? Actually, you exist in God's imagination. You have a body, you have a physical presence, but you also have a spiritual body within you. So now, does a dog have that? I don't know, but they're not you. They don't have languages like we have languages. So it's really, you've got to start thinking about mind and consciousness. Not the brain, but consciousness. Well, we're animalistic. We breathe, we need water. The cell that make us up, individual cells are very complicated, highly complex. We're not talking about, the watchmaker thing, that proves, the watch it's intelligent. You got to have information to build a human. It's in the DNA. DNA cannot evolve. That's what I'm saying. We're above the animals. It's just the way it is. My doctor recommended What, the peptide therapy? I refuse. Patrick talked me into giving it a try under doctor's care. What worked for you? Well, good. Okay, you research it. How old is this study and what's its source? Well, you go to try it, Grok or Chat Jeep, you know. Oh, on the which one? The well, you can Google it. You can do your own research. Chili badger goes for the parsnip. The most underrated. He feels like a vegetable at times. Chili badger feels like a vegetable at times. McLobs to put a pep in your step. I really swing those arms when I'm walking. And some people make fun of it. You know, they'll swing their arms. But I saw one guy had his arms straight down. I mean, that really looks ridiculous. But I don't care. I mean, it's part of keeping my balance. Are women Morjaro, nearly 80% of the weight loss jabs users like Morjaro are women. Well, there is a woman there. You know, everybody ages, and you can still look attractive, you know, as you age. Then I saw her back and kind of her shoulder area, and it's getting that like muscle builder thing where the tight skin, and I'm thinking, oh no, she's peptide, you know, diabetic medication. Oh no, I mean it's just women. They have to be, to me, to be attractive, have a certain percentage of fat. It's just the way it is. And so what they're doing, they're trying to do the finishing touches, which I think is abusing the drug. If you're grossly obese like Patrick was, okay, it makes sense. And he even knows that he's reducing the dose, and I think he's going to do some exercise. Even with that, you're not going to live forever, right? Don't kid yourself. I give you credit for that one. Espresso Racer, I think they used Joe Biden as a guinea pig to test all these drugs on. That guy was dosed up. He's in terrible shape now. I don't follow anything on him. But also covered in Medicare. I would say addictive. Anything can be addictive. Food can be addicting. Sex can be addicting. Collecting watches can be addicting. Collecting flashlights can be addicting. Streaming can be addicting. I would say addictive, but also covered in Medicare. Oh, that's going back there. You know, he was an astronaut at one time. He got up into space. McLeod said, we can thank Orrin Hatch for the lack of government oversight of the supplement market. Well, that's kind of the libertarian. You want your freedom? Then you're responsible, right? Do some homework. Oh, well, you're welcome. Espresso Racer, I've been hearing about peptides, but haven't taken the time to look into it. Thanks for the information breakdown, docs. Oh, good. That's what I'm here for, helping others, PSAs. And I learned by it too. Now, I know, like when I get done with the yard work, my hands really hurt, but do they hurt enough to take peptide therapy? No. And when I'm beat up, when I get back from the fitness center, I'll take an acetaminophen, extra strength, and that almost knocks me out. But I'm not messing around. Again, you're wonderfully made, and what's the phrase? What's the scripture? For I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works. But I'll look at it. Now, well, Lex, you're on a statin. I mean, that was the boomer tidal wave. That was the boomer thing of the day. Well, yeah, but it's 10 milligram every other day. And I didn't give up my exercise program so I could just handle things with the statin, okay? And it got my lipid panel, which even though I was working out, I could never get my lipid panel, all of it in the range. But I take that 10 milligram atorvastatin every other day, and I'm in the range. Don't have the best numbers, but I'm still working out. Death and taxes. That's true. That's true, Mark. Pavel, DNA is the exact mechanism by which life evolves. Life adapts. That's built in. First you got to have creation. How do you go from chemistry to life? What do you need? You need intelligence. Just like the fine-tuning of the universe that would allow life. You need intelligence. So evolution by definition means that there's no reason for anything. It's random. It just happened. Oh, you get water, you get a lightning strike, and you get DNA. No. The cell is too highly complex. Life does not evolve. Now, life adapts. Absolutely. Maybe even at the DNA level. I learned to trade, let's see. MacLobsa, I learned not to trust AI already. It spouts nonsense pretty often. Well, yes. You got to be careful. Because once I saw they were using Reuters and ABC News for sources, I thought, well, they're fake news. I can't use that as a source. So I'm really specific when I ask the question. Just give me the president's release. What did it say exactly? Don't give me a conclusion. Just what is it saying? I'm not in the market. Espresso Racer DOXX, you had a Toyota and a Subaru. I was a Subaru driver since 2002. I had many a Subaru. I just thought it was time for a change. Oh, and I was at a light, and there was like a car at the side of me, some SUV, thought it was hot. So I put, and he was inching up, and so I put in the paddle shifters, the manual, right? And it's already warmed up, so I'm good. So I just hit it, and I take the RPMs up to 4 and then shift. There's no hesitation. Then I get it up to 4,000 RPM, shift. And I'm just like, I left everybody. But the speed limit is 45. But then I just cruise in. Sit down, then I set the cruise. I don't really research Honda because I wanted specifically all-wheel drive, the horsepower. I didn't want to give up anything, and I wanted a true automatic. Try to find a true automatic. Everything's CVT. Ice cream's addictive. Chocolate chip cookies are addictive. All of it. I've tried my hardest to buy a packet of Golden Grams, and I hear they're quite addictive. Wow, we got a lot of chatters today. Polanka, all right, docs. Listen, it's a theory in trouble. It's not an explanation of creation. It's not. And I get sick and tired of hearing it. They use it in language like the college team has really evolved this year. The quarterback has really evolved into a passing quarterback. No, see, that's just another word for change. Of course, nobody denies change. But evolution from species to species, or from chemistry to a cellular entity, no way. Without intelligence, to have creation, to have beauty and precision, you got to have intelligence. I needed a smallish 4-door. Well, I got a hatchback. Plonky, I need a smallish 4-door, but Corollas aren't cheap. No. Well, either. Have you seen the Subarus, the WRXs, what they've gone up to? You can go look for a used one. But I told you about the car buying experience I had. If you want to buy a new one, I bought a 2025 in February of 2026. I went to the largest car lot by volume, largest Toyota dealership by volume in Florida is at Coconut Creek Toyota, and they had like 3 or 4 of them. CR Corolla, they got to move them. So I got a deal. I got an automatic. So that's how you do it. If you want a new one, go to a Subaru dealership. All right, now we got to go to politics because I want to get this done. I want to get this out of the way. And I'm telling you, you should hang around for at least what Rubio, if you want to know what's going on in Rubio is excellent. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, where are you? Where are you, Secretary, Mr. Secretary? Come on, where did you go? Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary of State Marco Rubio at ASEAN, A-C-E-A-N, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Philippines, Thursday, July 23rd, and he was taking questions, and he was knocking them out of the park. Number one, an Iran overview.
I've already told you guys yesterday something, and I was very clear about it. Nothing that Iran is doing, nothing that anyone's doing to help Iran is in any way increasing their ability to target Americans. What you need to all understand, because we've explained this repeatedly, is Iran has spent the better part of 20 years not just sponsoring terrorism, but building long-range rockets, short-range missiles, and drones. And they were intending to build them a lot more. They were intending to double their stockpile. The stuff you're seeing them use now, they were going to double that. And they were going to use that and hide behind that to say, we're untouchable. We can now do a nuclear weapon, and you guys can't touch us or we'll overwhelm your air defenses, which is why the president had to address this threat. And he did, and he should have. And other presidents should have done it earlier. The world will be a safer place because we addressed it. Unfortunately, you know, in the short term, it creates disruptions. But you know what's really disruptive? A nuclear weapon in the hands of these radicals.
Oh, is he good? He is good. Iran, deal, no deal.
Iran is begging us, okay, both directly and indirectly. Let's do a deal. Let's talk. Let's talk. Iran is begging every day. The problem with Iran is every time they make a deal, the people that are in charge there, they either break it or they want to change it. So it looks like they're not ready to make a deal. So they're going to continue to pay a price. And every night the price gets higher and higher and higher. And that's what's happening now. And until maybe in a few days, they'll be ready to make a deal once they realize that this is not a winning proposition for them. And that's what the president is outlining. The idea that this is going to continue, it's not going to continue this way. The price will continue to get higher every single night until they come to their senses. Right now, apparently they haven't come to their senses. And so the president doesn't see a lot of utility in responding to their overtures at this point, because frankly, Iran is clearly not ready to make a deal, at least not one they're willing to live by.
Well, what about those pesky Houthis?
Yeah, look, I hope that they'll stop. They shouldn't really do that. They got suckered into this by the Iranians. You know, the Houthis largely were smart and stayed out of all this throughout the conflict. But they now apparently have gotten themselves suckered into this, going after Saudi Arabia and their ships. And by the way, that's, you know, I was reading reports a few hours ago that there's actually a Saudi fuel ship that's flagged Chinese. It's a Chinese ship. Are they going to blow up the Chinese ship? And this becomes a problem for China. This will become a problem for the whole world. But I hope that will de-escalate, because I think the Houthis, frankly, got snookered into this thing by the Iranians, and they were smart to stay out of it, and they should stay out of it, and they should stop. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, it's not a positive development. We'll see what happens.
Saudi Arabia, nuclear.
But let me refer. No, but let me refer you. I know that was in the press the last few days, but let me refer you back. I think it was in November of last year when the Energy Department entered into this agreement. So the details are there. Obviously, even when the official announcement is made, it will have to go through a congressional notification process, and then we can talk more in depth about it. But suffice it to say that the U.S. is always looking for agreements with allies. I mean, Saudi Arabia is a strategic partner of the United States, and I think, without speaking in specificity about that deal, but in general, we're not the only country in the world that offers nuclear technology. And when countries decide they want to pursue a peaceful civil nuclear program, we'd prefer them do it with us than do it with some other country. It allows us to have influence over the direction that it goes. It allows us to make sure that there are safeguards in place, things of this nature. And in the case of Saudi Arabia, they've been an important strategic partner for us, so it would make sense for us to enter into such an agreement. But obviously the details of it, once it's released, you'll see it, you'll be able to understand it, and more importantly, it'll go through its congressional review process, which is a key part of this, you know, so there'll be a lot more questions answered at that time.
Would you be comfortable with Saudi Arabia enriching and reprocessing uranium?
I'll let the agreement speak for itself. Suffice it to say that any agreement that we're going to make with any country in the world on civil nuclear energy is going to be one that will have safeguards in place to ensure that it can't be turned into a weapons program. And one of the best safeguards is to make sure that American technology and American companies are the ones that are involved in doing it. If, on the other hand, a country pursues nuclear technology with another country, well, then we don't really control those safeguards. So again, Saudi Arabia seeks to have a peaceful civil nuclear program. Other countries do as well. We have a similar agreement in place now with the UAE, and U.S. companies are the world standard in providing that. And so we are always looking for opportunities, by the way, not just in conventional reactors, but in small modular reactors, which is an area that we are increasingly around signing MOUs all over the world to help do as well. To countries that are exploring civil, peaceful nuclear energy, the United States wants to be their partner of choice, and we're always looking for opportunities to be able to make sure that our technology and our companies are the ones that are providing that.
Guy's fantastic. Nuclear in general.
Any agreement that we would make on civil nuclear energy with Saudi Arabia or any other country is going to have safeguards in place to ensure that those cannot ever be turned into a weapons program. I mean, that's the gold standard. And obviously, we live in a new era. There are competitors that we face, so we'll have to adjust individual deals to that reality. We're not the only show in town, but we're the best show in town. But we want to make sure that it's our companies they're picking. So again, we understand any deal we enter into with any country will have to go through a congressional review process. And so we will ensure that in order to get congressional approval, we're going to need to have those safeguards in place, whether they're structured differently how they are from other deals in the past or not will depend on the individual deal.
On Cuba.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, what about Cuba?
I'm going to tell you this. No, here's what I told you, and this is the truth. The people who are in charge of the country don't know what they're doing. They don't know. They don't know how to fix their economy. They don't know they don't understand basic concepts. And I think the challenge that Cuba has faced for the last 15 years is they want to somewhat improve their economy, but they're afraid that if they improve it too much, they'll lose political control over people. That's the challenge that they face. So I think for us, we're looking for an opportunity to influence the direction that goes, because it's 90 miles from our shores, and we want Cuba to be prosperous. We want Cuba to be free. But in that sense, on the level of detail you're asking me, suffice it to say that as long as the people that are in charge think the way these people think and act the way these people act, it's going to be difficult for them to make the changes that need to be made in order for Cuba to have a better future. Because they just really, they don't understand it. Some of them are incompetent, and some of them just basically don't understand, and others are just so recalcitrant that they'd rather destroy the country than ever walk away from a failed ideology, although I think the number of people in that category is less than it's ever been. But for the most part, it's just people that don't know what an economy is supposed to look like. They really don't. And because they've always relied on foreign sponsors. That regime has survived on subsidies from the Soviet Union and then from Chavez. This is the first time they don't have a sponsor that's giving them subsidies for free. And they don't know what to do with themselves because all they've done is freeload off these countries for all these years. The people of Cuba deserve better than that.
Iran negotiations.
You know who the lead negotiator is? His name is Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States. That's who dictates our policy. He has a team of people that work together on this. We all have a role to play, depending on what the topic is. We have very good negotiators in Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. We have the Vice President of the United States, which is the second highest ranking official, which tells you how the importance we've given this file. Obviously, I have a role to play. The Department of War has had a role to play. That's how we approach it. This doesn't, I mean, it's a combined effort, and it always should be.
Do you wish people didn't endorse you to take over the talks yourself?
I mean, you're telling me about that, but that's not how our system works. That's not how this administration works. It starts at the top. The president is in charge, and he has a team of people that provide counsel and provide advice, but ultimately whose job it is to execute on the president's directive. We have a great team that works very well together. On that topic, we will work well together on a number of topics. We work together as a team on Lebanon. We've worked together as a team on Venezuela. We've worked together as a team on the Thailand-Cambodia peace agreement that was put together. We've worked together as a team. We have a really good core team that works on foreign policy and national security. And oftentimes it's a multi-agency effort because there's a role for Treasury to play. Sometimes there's a role for energy to play. That's how these things work. It's not one person. It's all these different elements of our government that have to work in conjunction and in concert to execute on the president's directive and on the direction that he's giving us.
What about that ICC, that International Criminal Court? What's going on there?
We're not members of the ICC. We never signed that treaty. We never joined it. And they somehow claim that they have a right, nonetheless, to go after non-treaty members and put heads of state and others in jail. We've long had quarrels with them. And we have lunatics and crazies involved in the ICC that are talking about charging members of the U.S. military, maybe even the president or a future president, with crimes. I mean, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. We are not members of that court. We never signed on to that treaty. They need to understand that. If people want to sign on and be a part of that stupid organization, they can. But we're not going to be a part of it, and they're not going to apply their jurisdiction to Americans. That's just not going to happen. We're not going to tolerate it now or in the future, and we've warned them about it repeatedly. And now they're going to see the consequences of ignoring us.
Ooh, consequences. Ah. Iran, heavy price.
No, guys, I saw Arachi, their foreign minister, who the other day say or something about their policies, an eye for an eye. The president's policy is a head for an eye. I mean, honestly, that's what it's going to be. I mean, they will pay a very heavy price for the things they're doing. They're already paying a very heavy price. You guys don't know it because you don't cover it. You're not in Iran. You're not in the street. They don't have a free media. But they're going to continue to pay a very heavy price. Their industrial base has been decimated. Their defense industrial base has been decimated. They're losing launchers. They're losing radars every single night. They are suffering billions of dollars in damage, and their economy is a disaster. But despite all that, okay, these people who are calling us every day, begging, let's do a deal, they send us messages through other countries, third countries. I mean, they're running out of countries to send. Even I had countries here coming up to me, oh, I just spoke to the Iranians, they want to do a deal. The problem is, every time these people do a deal, they either break it or after they make it, they want to change the deal. So they're probably not ready to do a deal yet, but they will be soon, because the price they're paying is very high, despite their tough talk and their flowery language and their stupid Lego videos they put out. I've never seen them, but they put these things out on social media. Despite all that bravado, they are suffering tremendously, and they're going to suffer more until they come to their senses. They're not there yet, unfortunately.
Which countries came to you?
Oh, I can't tell you who told me that. I mean, then I'd be betraying the confidences. There's some of them that are here, yeah, and every day I get a text or a call or a signal message from a foreign minister. Oh, so-and-so called me. The Iranians want to talk. The Iranians want to talk. But the problem with these guys, and in addition to the fact that they're probably fighting with each other, is they make a deal, they agree to something, and then they decide, oh, let's change it after they made it. Or they agree, or they decide, oh, I know we made a deal, but we're going to violate it. I mean, these people, unfortunately, they aren't ready for a deal. I think they'll be ready soon, though.
Do you think there's going to be a big escalation by the United States in the coming days?
That's the president's decision to make. They're going to pay a price. They're already paying a price every single night. I mean, you can't do the stuff they're doing for free. They're going to pay a price.
Iran, not serious.
I just don't think they're serious about making a deal. These guys, I mean, the more the president's gotten to know them, the more he's come to that realization. I mean, he said it yesterday, I believe. He gave a speech in Georgia. These guys, the problem with them is you can't make a deal with people unless they're going to keep it. And these people make deals and then they break it almost immediately. Or they decide, oh, let's change the deal. That's not how deals work. I mean, they violated the MOU within days of it being implemented. We kept our end of it, so now they're paying the price for it. And maybe they'll change their mind here over the next few days as they continue to suffer great losses.
All right, final clip. Iran layers.
First two layers weren't necessarily the nicest people on earth, so I don't think that we'll just keep going down the layers, I guess. But I don't. The first two layers were not like reformers. These were not like Renaissance men. You know what I mean? So I'm not. I don't think that the layers are the issue here. They're just look. The system is at the end of the day, it's a country run by radical clerics. I think they have political people in their system. I wouldn't call them moderates, but they at least understand like that hyperinflation is bad, high food prices is bad, gas shortages are bad. But I think when you get to that clerical level, these guys are just oblivious to all of that, and they're destroying their country. These are the people. Understand, Iran is a rich country. Iran could be the richest country in the Middle East if they want it to be, but instead, they take their money and they use it and they give it to Hezbollah, they give it to Hamas, they give it to the Houthis, they give it to Shia militias, they give it to sponsor terrorism all over the world. They give it to try to kill people all over the world. They build drones and missiles and pursue a nuclear weapons program. That's what they spent their money on. If they had spent their money on their people and on their economy, today Iran could be probably the richest country in the region, if you want to know the truth.
So how many layers do you have to hit?
Is the U.S. seeking a regime change in Iran or just change in its behavior?
I think the U.S. is seeking a denuclearized Iran that will never have a nuclear weapon. The future of Iran, that's obviously, it would be easier to have people in charge that don't want nuclear weapons, but in the end, that's our interest. Our number one interest and the threat they pose to the world is these lunatics in possession of a nuclear weapon. And that's not going to happen, not as long as Donald Trump is president. I don't know if some future president, or I know some past presidents have made some bad deals and others just haven't dealt with the problem. But our issue and our concern and our focus is denuclearizing Iran. They can never have a nuclear weapon. I don't know how many times the president has to
But
say
this
that.
group of people who you describe as lunatics, I mean, if they decide to make a deal, the United
Well, some of
States
them are
is okay-
lunatics, some of them are evil. Some of them are evil lunatics. You can be both.
So the
you know.
United States is okay, comfortable leaving these evil lunatics in place.
They just can't have a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon. I mean, imagine what they would do to the world.
What changed between now and the beginning of the war when the president made it sound like that was not going to be the case, that regime change was one of the goals of the war?
No, he never said regime change was a goal. From the very beginning, like from day one of the operation, it was very clear that we were going to degrade their missile launchers, their drones, and their factories, and their Navy. Their Navy no longer exists. There is no such thing as an Iranian Navy. What they have left is a handful of Boston whalers, but they don't really have they don't have a Navy. They don't have an Air Force. Their air defenses are crushed from the very beginning. Now, what the president has pointed to is the fact that the people of Iran deserve better leadership, and they slaughter their own people by the thousands. They shoot them in the head, they slaughter them in the streets. Yeah, we don't like that. I mean, we don't think that's good for Iran. But our goal and our national interest in Iran is they can never have a nuclear weapon. And that's what they were going to try to do if they had been able to hide behind double the number of missiles, double the number of drones. That's where they would have been in about a year had they continued on the pace of construction. Even though their economy was suffering, even though their people were suffering, that's what they were spending their money on, even though they had sanctions. The money that was coming in, they were spending it on those things. That tells you everything you need to know about them. All right, guys, thank you. Thanks. That one?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Boy, that was a whirlwind, wasn't it? Now, he did get asked about Ukraine and Russia, but I didn't. There was really nothing I could record. But I do have Laura Loomer off of X. She has an X account.
It really seems like the tone has changed.
Yeah,
since your
absolutely.
visit when you got yelled at by the vice president in the Oval Office.
You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was
have
in
the cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
So my question to you is what happened? Because it seems like the relationship has greatly improved. Is there something that you could share with the viewers about maybe your conversations with the president?
You are right, the tone has changed, absolutely. We had first like changing moment in Rome, in Vatican.
Yeah.
Yes, it was not long meeting, but I always said that is, I think, historic moment because we changed the relations during 15-20 minutes. So nobody was around us. We've been only two of us, and I was very happy to hear president, and I hope, and I was, and he heard me, and I heard him, and I think it was let it be between two of us, but it was very good. We come down, and it was very good, and I'm so happy because a lot of lives depends on such relations and dialogue.
Check her out. She's on X, and the president reposted it. So that must have helped her account. Oh man, it's 103 in the birdcage. Let's see, where do we live? Greg. All cars are overpriced. Well, what are you going to do? Greg, all cars are overpriced. Docs, can you use your golf cart to get food? Go to doctor's appointment? I don't have a golf cart. I don't like a golf cart. It doesn't have a suspension, and you can almost get thrown out of those things. And mine was a big one. It was like a 4-seater. And I just didn't, I'm not and there's no air conditioning. You have to go through the gate. There's only, the answer is, to my doctor, no, because I'd have to go on the highway. There's no way. There's no golf path to my doctor's office. I could go to the dentist, and that's just around the corner, but I don't like them at all. And they're for old people. I'm not an old person yet. Okay, McLobster is not a Trump fan. To be fair, you can't be fair. Come on, McLobster. No, McLobster, please. Greg likes his policy. Well, you got to get it. Let's see, what's the price of oil? I think they even trade that on the weekend. I think. It was up. $89. So, you know, $89. I paid super unleaded. I paid $4 1/4 or something. And but I look at it, I smile. I said it's worth it. Ayatollah without a nuke, I'll pay it. For now, you know. I know it hurts other people. I can't put that up there, Espresso Racer. No, what I'm saying, when you see the woman, and you see the back, and it's like the skin is so tight, and there's no fat. It's like, I don't like the look of it at all. I mean, it's like they get that skeleton look, or like a bodybuilder, or some of those women at the very, you know, just at the tournament, they're dehydrated and the skin is like saran wrap on them. I don't go for that. It's just how I am. All right, we're on a roll. I got to get this stuff done. And that was Laura Luma with Volodymyr Zelensky. Okay. And I gave you Secretary of State Marco Rubio at Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Philippines, on Thursday, July 23rd. He was great. I mean, he was just knocking it out. Anybody seen Senator Mitch McConnell? Please contact the DOXX Report. Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. Please contact DOXX Report. And we did a little bit about, well, let's get this out of the way. Save America Act, Senator Thune. Let's hear from the President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you. Senator John Thune has suggested that if the White House thinks that there are votes to pass the Save America Act, you should be picking up the phone.
Who are you with?
I'm with the Washington Examiner, sir. Could you be doing more to help that legislation pass?
Well, I do more. I got 3 congressmen, maybe 4, to settle, you know, to send it to the Senate. We got the vote, as you know, in Congress. I got a call from Mike Johnson, who's fantastic. He's a fantastic speaker, one of the best I've ever seen, and I think he's going to go down as one of the best. He called. He said, we have problems with 3 or 4 people. Could you call them? I called them. Every one of them, after I called them, voted, and we got it passed up to the Senate. And I'd certainly be willing. I mean, he's got 4 or 5 people that are very difficult. A couple of them I put out of office, so I understand how it feels. I mean, they're doing the wrong thing. Look, who cannot approve voter ID? Who cannot approve proof of citizenship? Who cannot approve funding military when you're winning a war, and what are you supposed to do, stop fighting? We're winning a war by a lot. We're talking to them right now. They're willing to do things that they would have never done. Other presidents should have done this a long time ago. They say 47, but now it's actually 50 years. We've been saying 47 for 3 years. So it's 50 years. For 50 years, they should have done it. But who wouldn't approve voter ID? And that's photo ID. Who wouldn't approve proof of citizenship? And the Democrats don't want it because they cheat. But no Republican should put us in a position where they don't approve something like that.
How do you respond to that, Senate Majority Leader Thune, South Dakota?
President Trump and his allies have renewed their calls to fire the parliamentarian and pass the SAVE Act. You've been very clear as to why the SAVE Act doesn't have the votes to pass and why firing the parliamentarian would create problems here. But are you worried that if you don't do what the president wants, that he's going to criticize your leadership or perhaps withdraw support for your leadership?
That could happen. Look, and it's a well-known fact around here. Sometimes perhaps not fully grasped around the country, but anybody who follows this process closely knows that we don't have the votes. And the only way that you could figure out a way to get the votes, and even in that case, the Save America Act didn't even get 50 votes last week on the floor of the Senate. But even if you confine it to just the 2 issues of photo ID and citizenship in order to register to vote, on those 2 issues, it takes 60 votes in the Senate. The only way you could get there is to undo or get rid of the legislative filibuster, and there aren't even close to the votes here in the United States Senate in order to achieve that. So it's an issue we all agree on. We're all for it, and we've all voted that way. but it's not something that we're going to be able to get done absent.
Yeah, not everybody's laughing. He had a little chuckle. The guy on his left, your right, he wasn't laughing. But things may be changing. Let's go to John Solomon on the Bonjoni show, Dan Bonjoni, is it?
Now we have a bunch of lazy senators who want to threaten the filibuster and not get off their feet and talk and really represent the people and stand for what they believe in. And all the American people are asking John Thune to do is to restore the Senate to the way it used to work before Mitch McConnell's lazy filibuster ideas kind of came into play. And I think that the American people are going to be there. Here's what I think is going to happen, Dan, and I think you probably know some of this because you had a foresight into some of the things that the Bureau now knows that was kept from the American public. I think Donald Trump is going to change the narrative in America. I think he's going to change some senators' minds, and he's going to do it by revealing some of the things that Chris Wray and that Chris Krebs and other major officials who were in charge of the integrity of our elections and who told us it was a perfect election in 2020, he's going to start revealing some of the intelligence that was kept from the American people. And we're going to see that our foreign adversaries have monkeyed with our system more than we knew, more than those driver's licenses coming into Chicago that you helped get all of us to understand about a few months ago, about China sending fake driver's licenses to help Joe Biden in. There are going to be significant efforts by foreign powers, some friends, some enemies, that were trying to meddle in the system, and they got pretty far down that path. And I think when senators realized their state could have been targeted, when senators realized that the intention of the identities of some of their voters might have been assumed, I think there's going to be a different debate in America. And I think if the president takes the time to educate people and show them that maybe the stories we got from the last leadership weren't true, I think he's going to pick off the votes. And then the American people are going to put some pressure on John Thune, and they're going to surgically implant a stiff back, and he's going to change that filibuster for this particular thing, make it a standing filibuster, make the Democrats talk till they drop, and then we'll get a vote in the summer. But I think there's some big, significant, and very troubling revelations about the vulnerabilities of our elections that the president is about to unveil on the American public.
And those vulnerabilities I'll finish up today for. I got to get it finished up today. 4 comments. I'm not sure about that on the 9/11, Greg. Not sure. Okay, McLobster. Okay. Well, yeah, you got to, of course it's about oil. You need free flow of oil at market prices. Absolutely. Okay. Let's finish up on, because I've already done an hour 37. And let's go back to, let's go, and I'm going to do this quicker. So it's China's acquisition and exploitation of American voter data. That's in the link in the description or in the comments that I put in initially. You can contact Senator Thune, and also you can go to the zip files at the whitehouse.gov. Take you to directly there. So let's talk about China. Got this off of AI. I just wanted an overview of the whether it's accurate or not, just an overview of the allegations and concerns in the China voter data files. The White House collection consists of roughly 24 declassified, heavily redacted intelligence assessments, memoranda, briefing materials, analytic summaries, and interagency correspondence. The precise count is reported as 23 to 25 PDFs, apparently depending on whether introductory statements or duplicate materials are counted separately. Number 1, large-scale possession of American voter information. That's China. The documents allege that the People's Republic of China associated entities it's either the People's Republic of China or associated entities obtained or possessed voter registration information covering more than 200 million Americans. One reference database reportedly contained approximately 204.8 million voter records in a 45 gigabyte file dating from 2016. Let's break it down. Names and dates of birth, residential and mailing addresses, telephone numbers, voter ID numbers, party affiliation, voting precinct or polling location, previous addresses, voting history information, citizenship indicators, gender, occupation, education, military affiliation. All right. 2, voter records associated with numerous states. The release alleges that voter registration information from at least 18 states was compromised, collected, purchased, downloaded, or analyzed by the People's Republic of China associated actors. States identified in various documents include Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, Michigan, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, District of Columbia. One intelligence memorandum reportedly described analysis of midterm election voter information from 18 states. All right. 3, continued acquisition after the 2020 election. The documents allege that the activity was not limited to a single breach or election cycle. The reported chronology includes a very large voter data set existing in 2016. China analysis of multiple state voter information during or after the 2018 midterms. And it goes on and on and on. Sharing into 2023 of city-level voter information involving Arkansas, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Michigan, North Carolina, Ohio. 4, combining voter data with other compromised information. A 2019 catalog allegedly listed numerous leaked or compromised data sets held by China or China-associated entity. 97 entries were reportedly identified as American data sets, many involving personal identifiable information. The concern expressed, let's give an example. So security numbers, driver's license information, medical records, financial information, social media information, government records, information concerning religious, professional, and civic organizations. This combination could allow more precise identification, targeting, and assessment of particular Americans. 5, U.S. person matching and public opinion analysis. Why would they do that? The documents raise concern that such analysis could be used to divide Americans into political or demographic categories. Oh, that's what the Democrats love to do. Identify politically influential individuals, locate government, military, or campaign personnel, select audiences considered susceptible to particular messaging, and measure attitudes toward candidates, policies, or U.S.-China relations. All right, let's continue. 6, how many are there here? Oh, wow. Well, I got to hustle. I'm just going to give you the broad index, okay? You get the idea. Okay, person match. And then you had collection involving campaigns, candidates, and donors. You had alleged efforts to influence opinion against our beloved El Presidente Trump. Several documents present allegation that Chinese government preferred President Trump to lose the 2020 election and undertook or considered activities intended to damage his political position. 8, social media and information operations. Let's race through this. Identifying influential or vulnerable targets. 9. 10, potential identity and election administration misuse. Long-term value of voter data. Dedicated exploitation activity. This is all China. China's interest in military-affiliated voters. 14, driver's license and identity document concerns. 15, intelligence community disagreement about Chinese intentions, the handling and distribution of the intelligence, redactions and incomplete sourcing. All right, that's it. That's the end of China. Meddling. We got to enact this stuff. What's the next one? Let's knock this out. Oh, the Michigan voter registration investigation. Now, what's all that about? Okay, I closed the China one. Let's go. Michigan voter investigation. This is not as long as the China one. Summary of the stated allegations of concern. The White House Michigan voter registration investigation file set concerns a large voter registration operation active in Muskegon, Michigan during 2020. The documents reportedly contain the following allegation. A substantial number of voter registration applications submitted by the organization contain suspicious or apparently fabricated information. Canvassers allegedly signed registration forms using other people's names. Canvassers allegedly submitted registrations for individuals who did not exist. Some applications allegedly contained false personal information or signatures that did not correspond with legitimate voter records. Certain canvassers reportedly acknowledged these practices during interviews with FBI agents. Are you listening, Senator Thune? Workers were allegedly compensated with gift cards or other incentives tied to a number of registration applications they produced. The more they produce, right, you get a nice gift card, creating concerns that the payment system encouraged fabrication applications. Michigan authorities reportedly considered the findings serious enough to involve the Michigan State Police and the FBI's Detroit field office. FBI personnel working on the matter reportedly believed that potential criminal violations had occurred. The documents raised concern that the federal investigation was subsequently delayed, slowed, or left unresolved for several years, rather than being promptly completed and referred for prosecutorial decisions. The broader concern presented is that a coordinated voter registration operation may have generated fraudulent applications on a significant scale, and that the full scope participants, financing, supervision, and possible criminal responsibility were not thoroughly resolved. These allegations relate specifically to voter registration applications and the handling of the investigation, as described on the White House page, link in the comments. All right, last one, and then I can put this to bed. Non-citizens on the voter rolls. Isn't that disturbing? Okay. Let's get into this one. The ZIP materials concern a preliminary Department of Homeland Security comparison of publicly available state voter registration records against federal immigration records. The central allegation is that a large number of people identified in federal records as non-citizens may also appear as registered voters. Oh, surprise, surprise, surprise. California, maximum number alleged to be registered, 190,000. Well, actually, approximately, let's round it off, 191,000. Records described as stronger identity matches. Maximum number to be alleged, to be registered. Now, these are non-citizens. New Jersey, 35,000. Nevada, 15,900. Pennsylvania, 14,500. Four-state total, 100,000. The White House states the broader DHS review identified approximately 278,000 possible non-citizens registered for federal elections. Concerns, so it's possible ineligible registrations, inadequate sharing of citizen information, possible weakness in voter roll maintenance, need for individual identity verification, ID, voter ID, possibility that the individual's total, possibility that the identified total is incomplete, potential unlawful voting, state-federal coordination before future elections. The letters request that California, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania contact Department of Homeland Security so that immigration information can be provided and the flagged identities examined before subsequent federal elections. All right, there we go. Again, the link is in the comments. We've covered it. DOXX Report covered it. And I'm through with it. Comments? Greg, I love the Chinese people. The government is bad news. The American government also has corruption problems. Oh, yeah, of course. No, McLaughlin, control of Trump is taken over. Oh, yeah. Great job, President Trump. McLobster, yes, control of the oil. Trump has taken over control of Venezuela. The Venezuelan people are getting the money from that also. And the involvement, our involvement there was paid for by that. Critical levels. Well, you don't want to put that much pressure on. China's a competitor, okay? Now, I think that may be the show. I got one thing left here. Does anybody recognize the name of Joshua Carey? I'll give you a hint. He's in the UK. Joshua Carey. Does that ring a bell? McLobster, I'd prefer affordable gas. Well, so do I. But you got to get the free flow of oil at market prices. So let's bring up this guy, Joshua Carey. What do I do with him? Man, I didn't load that one either. Are you kidding me? Oh, I got to go get him. He's a creepazoid. Let's load him up here. What do you think? He looks harmless enough, doesn't he? Or does he? Does he look harmless? Well, let me tell you a little about this guy, what he's charged with. Joshua Carey of the UK. There he is. Yeah. Wait till you hear this. Well, he's the guy that took a hammer to Ann Whitcomb, a Reform Party supporter, elderly woman, 28 times to the head. So I asked ChatGPT, any motive been established or postulated regarding the UK murder suspect Joshua Carey? Include speculation. No motive. They got him on film, too, doing this. No motive has been formally established or publicly alleged by prosecutors. Okay. Oh, possible political or terrorist connection. Well, it had to have been at least political. He drove extensively to get to her house, targeted her. Police describe Ann Whitcomb's killing as an apparently targeted attack rather than a random encounter. Counterterrorism policing took over the investigation after evidence emerged that caused authorities to reconsider their initial assessment that there was no political or terrorism. Well, it's obviously, I think it's political. Motives being considered: political hostility towards Whitcomb or the Reform UK. And just like the liberal coward he is, he took the weakest link to go after. These are deranged people on the left, completely deranged and willing to kill. This appears to be principally publicly discussed theory. This appears to be the principal publicly discussed theory, political hostility towards Whitcomb or the Reform UK. Whitcomb was a highly recognizable conservative politician and Reform UK spokeswoman associated with immigration, illegal immigration, Brexit, and socially conservative positions. Yeah, you absolutely got to give protection to Nigel Farage. All right, that's all I want to do. I just wanted you to see him. Out of his mind. Completely out of his mind with hate. And it's on the left. Get rid of him. Any final words there, Mr. President? anything?
You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. Demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, that's the DOXX Report show for Saturday, July 25th. Comments, questions, concerns? I do have, I'm really looking for the next show, forward to the next show. It won't be political. It'll be along the lines of UAPs and the afterlife. My antenna went up when I saw a program. Okay, I don't even follow that anymore, John. I'm out of it. I've left that particular part of YouTube. But it's like smoking, you know. You quit smoking. Do I secretly watch maybe a show or two? Yeah, but I don't. It's like you stop smoking, I'm not going to pick up a cigarette. I'm not going to comment on anything going over there. Oh, yeah, he's out of his... can you imagine the hate this guy must have to do that to a poor woman? Anybody. With a hammer, 21 times? The blood splattered everywhere, and then he takes her pocketbook. Oh.